Three, two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another podcast for another week. How's your week been anyway, Vesp?
Been alright. Woke up terrible this morning. The world was spinning. It was like that moment in Deadpool, video game where... Huh? Their power is vertigo? That's terrible. What a terrible power. Well,
Yeah, it's fucked. How you've been describing it for like the last couple of days, it's just... It sounds terrible.
Layman terms is when you're moving your head left and right, your eyeballs move to keep yourself staring stationary.
Yeah.
But you changed your fucking... How long ago did you change your stream?
What do you mean?
To Nico23.
It's always been that.
I should have done that on the banner. My apology. Shit. Okay.
Oh no! Keep it. No. Oh yeah. Anyway, sorry, I've got
like
you now. Yeah.
Your brain is thinking you're still moving, even though you're stationary. You could be stationary regardless, and your brain will still think you're moving.
Yeah.
I'll lean back in bed, and my head is suddenly doing 60 miles an hour, 360 degree of my vision, left and right. And because of that, your stomach decides, hey, I'm going to bring everything you've ever eaten in the last 12 hours, even if you've just got bile, I'm going to bring that up. And you've got no warning. It's fantastic. It's better now. I kind of slept in a coffin pose where I'm lying on my back, my head straight up on a pillow, with my hands on my chest, hoping to God I didn't move. But here I am today. I'm able to do stuff. I'm on my computer, enjoying this fantastic pub with one viewer.
Just one viewer.
Pretty sure that one viewer is me.
We'll get some people going anyway.
No, apology. It's me and Legrot. Hey, Legrot.
How's it going, Legrot?
So, we've got some great topics today.
We might as well before we go into the quickfire articles.
Out of nowhere, just to let anyone know that to no one's shock ever, Borderlands 3 is a timed exclusive on the Epic Store.
Yeah, we'll quickly talk about that before we get into the quickfire articles.
Borderlands 3 is a 6-month exclusive on the Epic Store.
Yeah,
which will be the only place to buy the PC copy until 2020. After that 6-month exclusivity period, it will release on additional PC storefronts, such as mainly Steam. I don't think it sells anywhere else.
It's really no surprise that it's coming to this point.
Which, honestly, you shouldn't be surprised. The same parent company owns, the other, what was the other game? Metro. Same parent company. Why not put it on Epic? Why not stir up a bit of competition? I personally don't mind it. Like, we've had this discussion last week. I don't mind multiple loaders. Like, it takes up space and it gets annoying, but if you're like me and you just open the game off the desktop, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I did see an argument that someone brought up, a little while ago. And the argument was that, it was like, well, look at, console exclusives, right? It's like, at least with PC, when it comes to all these different launches and buying the games on these different launches,
it's at least released on the platform.
Well, yeah, it's on the platform and the launches are free, right? Yeah. So for PC. And all you have to do is just download the launcher and buy the game. Now, but when you look at something like consoles, where if you've got an Xbox and you're a big Halo fan and stuff like that, but you love Uncharted as well, you need to fork out another $500, or probably less than that now, probably $400. For a PS4 console, just so you can play it. It's which I kind of get, but the whole reason why we like having obviously one source for our games is because it's just easier.
Yeah.
So it's just easier, simple. All of our games are in one spot. We don't have to keep going to different launches and different services and stuff like that, just so we can get what we want. Yeah, so it's... I get both arguments. I'm starting to see both arguments, and I do see why the Epic Game Store is doing well. like for the fact of the matter is, like regardless of your opinions of it, it's well, it's one of those things that you've got to. How do I put it? Now I've lost my train of fucking thought. One of those things that, like they're offering a better service for developers. Yeah, they're offering a bigger cut.
Yeah,
they're offering.
But not necessarily does that always correlate to better for the player.
No, not necessarily.
To this current date, Epic has no real refund policy.
No, which is going to be a big problem, especially for somewhere like here in Australia.
In all honesty, for the last, before Steam even introduced refunds, the last 10 years before that, we all knew what we were getting to. It was a final purchase. If you didn't like it, well, you just wasted money.
Yeah.
It's not something new, like they suddenly had this ability and took it away.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of those things that we all expect. Like, as soon as Metro went over, I think everyone sort of started to see the fact that it was going to, like, a lot of developers and stuff were going to go to Epic Games if Epic Games were offering a bigger cut. Like, again, look, it's money. It all boils down to money in the end, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, as Leggot said in the chat, it's like Netflix, Stan, Disney, Apple TV, etc., etc. Someone needs to make a single app to launch them all. But then you've got an app to launch the apps that launch the apps. And then it would just keep going and going. It'll be like a Pandora's box of bullshit. Once you open it, it will never stop.
Yeah,
it's like the Battle Royale that came out, One Battle Royale. It was originally a thing. It was a very niche product. But one big one came out, and then, like, Pandora's box just opened up. Like, someone after Taco Bell, and it just went... Now there's Battle Royale everywhere. Call of Duty. Battlefield. Apex. So one company alone, one publisher has released 2 Battle Royales this year. Fuck off.
Yeah, well, you look at, what was it, recently someone made the argument that they were boycotting Borderlands 3 for the simple fact that it was, like, there was no Battle Royale in the game, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? It's like, it's games at the moment are saturated, like, gaming at the moment is saturated with fucking Battle Royale. Don't get me wrong, Battle Royale is a great concept, it's a great mode, and it's a lot of fun. But again, we've got so many choices to pick at the moment. It's just very stupid. Like, you look at Firestorm at the moment, right? Like, the whole purpose of me not liking that is because it's based in World War II, and we have prototype fucking helicopters. It's like, no.
Well, having said that, like, with the new Battlefield, I had freaking reflex sights and hollows on the guns from World War II, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing any of those in World War II history.
No.
But on the track of PUBG and Battle Royales, Brendan Green says he does not want to make another PUBG.
Well, no shit, he's not a part of PUBG Corp no more.
Actually, he is. According to this article on PC Gamer, see the segue? I'm great at that. He's actually remaining at PUBG Corp, but he's just working on a new division called PUBG Special Projects, which will explore possibilities of interaction and connection within the game space. It is still multiplayer focused, but based on the statement, Green recently told Game Industry that one thing he's not interested in doing is making a sequel to PUBG. Why make a sequel to the game you fucking never finished?
Oh yeah, that's exactly right.
But the Last Man Standing concept is great, and I've done that. I don't really want to make a PUBG 2, he said. I've done Battle Royale, it's time to try something else. There are ideas about how we can connect to people and how we provide the different experiences I have. It gives him, the new division is essentially just going to give him free will to indulge in his little thing, but I don't know what you can
indulge
do to
in his
PUBG.
Fantasies with a crappy
what can
engine.
They do to PUBG to make it different or add to it? What are they going to do? Add team deathmatch now?
They already technically have that.
Yeah, but they could make it. God, maybe they'll make a single. Maybe he'll move on to like a co-op storyline campaign for PUBG as to how the island started. Oh boy. This is just opening a can of worms, but, at the end of the day, he doesn't really care. He's got like 200 million in the bank.
Yeah, I know, Wayne. I know I'm supposed to be on DayZ, but I thought I've got to do my podcast first and I'll jump on after.
Is your friend so
Sorry.
join up on, you know?
I'm sorry, stream. My throat is absolutely fucked right now. Like, I had to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and do a move out on a chook farm. So I've got my throat feels like it's clogged up with fucking just crap. It's just ridiculous. The joys of working on a chook farm. It's great. But all right, how about let's get into these quick fires.
That just knocked out a couple of articles right there, just really easy for a couple of segues.
Yeah, like at least got through a couple of them.
You leave the big ones for last. You shouldn't be taking calls, man. Your phone should be on silent.
Yeah, I know. What the fuck? This is like the third podcast, and I haven't learnt yet. All right, let's get into the quickfire articles. All right. Ramiro Games is working on a strategy game with Paradox. This was from PC Gamer by Tom Senior. On Twitter today, Brenda Ramiro announced that Ramiro Games is partnering with Paradox to create a new strategy game. All we have are the developer logos and at the moment, but more details will be revealed at E3 this year.
Oh, yeah?
Look, I'm looking forward to it. Like, the thing is that Ramiro Games has always had a spotty history, but Ramiro, like, obviously it's going to be something like supernatural horror related, which I don't mind. In some ways I wouldn't mind them doing as much as the idea is saturated at the moment because there's so many of them, but maybe like a zombie strategy game, maybe. Which would work in the Romero universe, which I think would probably be okay. All right. Second article. Halo: The Master Chief Collection and Reach testing could begin in April. This was from PC Gamer again, by Fraser Brown. If all goes according to plan, Halo: The Master Chief Collection doesn't have a PC release date yet. But you might be able to get your hands on it this month. And that includes Halo Reach. Brian Jarrett, the Halo community director, announced the possibility of early access testing available to Halo insiders. This is what he said on Twitter. Happy April. If all goes according to plan, this is the month we start the first Reach Master Chief Collection flights. The tweet was posted on April 1st, but it isn't a joke, despite the date. Jared also made a forum post stating that Halo Reach test would come to Xbox first, then a PC.
Why would it need to be released on Xbox first if it's coming out on PC? It's already been released on Xbox before. That doesn't make sense to me.
Unless they're doing like a 4K sort of do-over, which could be the case.
Fuck 'em.
Yeah. Though he clarified that this could change and the order has not been decided, both platforms will definitely get tests. However, to sign up for the Halo Insider program, head over there. You'll get opportunities to play in public flights for other Halo games too. So it should come in handy if you've got your eye on Halo Infinite. Then again, I kind of gather unless you're, or like you'd probably only be accepted if you're again like a Halo streamer or you're a pro player in the Halo competitive scene or whatever. My honest opinion.
Someone who's been in bed with Microsoft, got their name out there, so Microsoft's gone, hey, look, he's a influencer who could get traction for our game.
Yeah, pretty much. 3. Nvidia's third article. Nvidia's director of technical marketing leaves to join Intel's GPU team. This was from PC Gamer. I think all the articles are PC. By Joanna Nelius. Sorry if I butchered your name. Intel keeps scooping up its competitors' upper management. In a tweet yesterday, Intel announced that Tom Peterson, now NVIDIA's former director of technical marketing, has joined Intel as a fellow leading the company's graphics experience team. This is the latest in a steadily growing list of surprise departures that seems to solidify Intel's seriousness in becoming a mainstay in the GPU market. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that one.
What, Intel making their own GPU?
Oh, well, it's not like Intel isn't a reputable brand, but then again, I don't think they're going to kick off strong. They're going to definitely kick off with a lot of fucking bumps in the road.
It all depends. Like, the people they've been pulling in, to my knowledge, they've been pulling in AMD, they've been pulling in NVIDIA, they've been pulling in executives from all over the place and designers from all over the place. High-ranking ones within other companies are being pulled in from, NVIDIA, AMD, to work with Intel on a project that they've been working on for a long time. Intel had a prototype a long time ago that they canned at one point, but it was a very prototype version of a graphics card.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see, like, a new party coming in and splitting things up in the middle is going to be good. This hasn't happened in a good 15, 16, maybe 17 years. Like when Voodoo went out. Remember? I think it was Voodoo that went out, went bankrupt, and NVIDIA came along and bought all their stuff up.
Mm.
They're the ones who came up with SLI originally.
Oh, it could work, I suppose. Well, I guess we'll see when it comes out. And the fourth last quickfire article...
3DFX, my apology. Yeah, 3DFX was the original company 25 years ago. It went defunct 17 years ago.
Oh, okay.
They used to work on graphics cards. It was AMD and then... it was Radeon, 3DFX, and I'm pretty sure NVIDIA were all fighting each other.
So having a third party.
Having a third party, and it will, bring down, cause NVIDIA to probably be more consumer or least consumer. And so Intel's probably going to take over AMD, and AMD is going to be back down on the bottom still. Or it could be the other way around. They could, be worse than AMD. Who knows?
I guess we'll find out when they actually unveil something, I suppose.
Yep.
Fourth and last quickfire article. No Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield at E3, Bethesda confirms from PC Gamer by Samuel Horty. It's going to be a long time. No shit. Details on both the Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield, Bethesda's two next big RPGs have been sparse since they were announced, and we were hoping to find out more at this year's E3. But the games are not something we're going to be talked about at June's conference. Bethesda Game Studios executive producer Todd Howard has confirmed. Before anyone asks, be patient, Howard said at PAX East panel about Bethesda's new game engine tech. It's going to be a long time. It's not something we're going to be talking about at E3, either of those games this year. I have a funny feeling the reason why they're not talking about it is because of what happened with Fallout 76.
Possibly, or they got their own little event they're going to bring out, because everyone wants to do their own little event. But to be honest, Fallout 76 was kind of a...
That hit them hard. Fallout 76 hit them hard. Like, personally, for me, I quite enjoyed Fallout 76. Even with the flaws it had. Right? But, for the most part, it got hit pretty hard. And, for a lack of a better term, for some good reason. But then again, I don't know why people are expecting, they want to see more Elder Scrolls 6, and they want to see this, and they want to see that. They need to understand that Fallout 76 only just came out, last year. Or, they can't really expect them to turn around and go, oh, well, we've been working on Fallout 76 for the last 3 years, and And the only reason why we really announced Elder Scrolls 6 is because the Twitch chat went fucking bananas and turned around and got apeshit at the fact that we weren't announcing Elder Scrolls 6. Which was because pretty much all the Elder Scrolls fanboys were on suicide watch that E3 conference. Because everything they announced, and if you saw that Twitch chat, which was fucking hilarious, and it was just all the Elder Scrolls fanboys just sitting there going, "Where's Elder Scrolls 6? What about Elder Scrolls 6? Fuck Fallout, where's Elder Scrolls 6?" It's like, like how Bethesda works, and for the people that don't that are Bethesda fans, like, don't get me wrong, I do like Elder Scrolls as a concept, as a game. I do have my personal grievances with Fallout and Elder Scrolls, especially Skyrim and Oblivion. But I do understand and I do see why a lot of people love those series. Like, personally, me, I'm more of a Fallout fan. But how they've worked for the last, pretty much since Oblivion, they've always announced their main staple game, which is either Elder Scrolls or Fallout. They bring out, like when Oblivion came out, they brought out, I think, 1 or 2 DLCs. And then it took them a while before they even announced Fallout 3. Fallout 3 came out, and then they did a spin-off to Fallout 3. Then Elder Scrolls 5 came out, Skyrim came out. And then not long after that, they also brought out, they brought out 2 spin-off games on top of that. So Elder Scrolls has been sort of done to death at that current point. Right, because you had 3 Elder Scrolls games be dropped. Even though Elder Scrolls Online was very, very mediocre, I was one of the ones that got burnt pretty hard on that. They did more extra stuff for Elder Scrolls. So at that point in time, it was time for them to announce another Fallout game. It was just bound to happen. Everyone I spoke to at that point in time, after they announced Elder Scrolls Legends, right, and they said, "Oh, well, you know, it's like, Fallout 4 is not going. There's not going to be Fallout 4. It's going to be Elder Scrolls 6, of course. Like, why would they do Fallout? Fallout's dead." It's like, no, not technically. Fallout's still got a big fan base, like myself included. You know, so it's time for them to bring out another Fallout game. And sure enough, I was right. They announced Fallout 4, and then after they brought out Fallout 4, all this DLC. Then they announced Fallout 76, and I called that too. And a lot of people kept saying, no, it's now Elder Scrolls 6. It's like, no, I said, they might announce it, but it's definitely not going to come out for a while. And personally, how I see it, I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be brought out in the next, I don't know. It's not going to come out this current generation of consoles, at least. I don't think. Or if it does, it's going to definitely be a heavily downscaled version. But Starfield, I think they want to do something on the lines of like Star Citizen. So I'm kind of gathering as what they're trying, like what their concept is, what they're trying to do with it. So I think Starfield, I don't think we're going to see for a fair while. Same as Cyberpunk as well, which I'm very much looking forward to Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm more interested in Cyberpunk than any freaking game Bethesda wants to fucking shit out.
Yeah.
Here you are saying, you're a fan of Fallout and Bethesda. Like, I was excited for Skyrim because I loved Oblivion. Oblivion was great. I never played any of the DLCs. I played Oblivion once and I left it at that. That's what I did in high school. Then Skyrim came out. I played it a little bit. I went, "What the fuck is this garbage?" And I've got it on Steam, and I've probably, if I'm lucky, got a couple of hours in it. Tried some mods. Everyone's like, "Oh, the modding. Even if the main game isn't great, you've got modding." And I'm like, well, there's better be some great mods. So I looked at some mods. I wasn't fucking interested in it. Not at all. Like,
the only mod I was interested in for Fallout 4 was the get rid of the size restriction on PC. I was able to build like a big, massive fuck off like town, and it was just awesome. But
I've got 3 hours in it. Game purchased the 3rd of the 8th. Yeah, the 8th. Sorry, 8th month or the 3rd month. I can't tell. I think it's American at that point. Either way, I bought it in 2012. The year is 2019 now. It's March 2019. I've only got 3 hours in it. I have got Fallout 4 as well. I haven't played that. I bought that in 2017. Haven't fucking played shit. Why? Because after you buy a Bethesda game, all the shit just fucking pours out of any fucking crevice it can. It's not airtight. Nothing's sealed. It just fucking crips out. And once you smell it, you just don't want to go near it.
Oh, fair enough.
Don't get me wrong. I watched my girlfriend play Fallout 4 on console. And on PC. She loves it. She quite enjoys it. She wasn't very good at it.
I thoroughly enjoyed Fallout.
I enjoyed the concept of, the post-apocalyptics what if. But Fallout 4 just seemed more... It didn't seem like Fallout 3 or New Vegas. It was newer gen, but not something I was looking forward to. I've got it. I wanted to play a little bit. I bought it mainly because the girlfriend was going to play it, and then she bought it anyway. Skyrim, look, everyone reckons it's a great game. I found the story to be lackluster, and I'm a big Mythos guy, but I just could not get into Skyrim. It's just something I couldn't do. So when they were like, Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out, and I'm like, I wonder how they're going to do it this time, because it might be something fantastic. It might be the next big thing, but the past releases for Bethesda lately, you've got Fallout 76, you've got all these other little minor issues coming out. The fact that they're shitting out fucking, what do you call them? BJ Blazkowicz's games, what are they? You're killing Wolfenstein. They're crapping those things out. They used to release a Wolfenstein once in a while. Now, every year or so, every second year, there's a new fucking Wolfenstein. They're half-assed. And the quality's gone down. Like, the New Order, I think New Order was the first one, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was fantastic. And the Old Blood, fucking fantastic.
The second one felt a lot of the same. But don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed the second one.
It was more half-assed cutscenes where they're trying to give you this nitty-gritty, yet comical, yet dark sort of story game. And it didn't feel as connected to its own storyline as the first one did, Like, it had a bit of little plot holes there, like how he gets, spoiler alert, if you haven't played it, his head gets removed from his body. And they somehow stick it onto a robotic body. And it makes you just... Maybe Nazi science, in 1970, became far better than, science that in the free world after World War II became, but I find that hard to believe.
Well, look, personally, I like, when I play those sort of games, I put realism just out the fucking window. Because for me, it's just, it's supposed to be, those games are supposed to sort of harken back to something like an old 80s action movie.
Yeah, the old, arcade shooters. But for me, that was the beginning of the downfall for Bethesda. And then, like, I played it, I enjoyed it, I streamed it. One of the first things I streamed on Twitch was this. And after I moved into this new place. And I enjoyed it. I honestly enjoyed it. The sex scenes were awkward as fuck and well, not necessary, but, it's this age in gaming where we're going to have something shocking.
Well...
Yeah, but...
Well, see, the thing is, though, is that one thing I know they did right, and they did right very well, and from what we've seen with the second game, it looks like they're sticking with that stride, which I'm happy with, is Doom. They hit, like, in my honest opinion, they hit the fucking nail, square bang on the fucking head with Doom. So, like,
yeah. Maybe Doom, originally Doom was that, that arcade shooter that no one really took serious, and now in the later generations, Doom 3, Doom 2, Doom 3, and then, what was it? The Doom 3 UAC situation, the expansion packs for that. That was a bit of a bad side for Doom. And then the new Doom came out, and it was like playing the original Doom, but in 2016? 2016 graphics, and
I think the year was about 2016. Yeah, came out,
and it, it was groundbreaking for, it was like playing the original game, but the new graphics. And
well,
They did that great.
We'll quickly finish this up so we can get on to the main articles, because we've sort of rambled on for a while.
Yeah, my apologies on that.
That's fine. But all right. Well, we'll talk about the one of the sort of lesser stories, but I'd still like to actually talk about it. Put the article in the chat.
Which one is it?
Stalker 2 website comes to life with spooky music and a new wallpaper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I personally have never played Stalker, but I know it does have a pretty big, massive cult following. It'd be something that I probably should buy at some point and actually stream just to try it out. Because as I said, Stalker has always been a series that I've sort of like wanted to play, because it feels similar to Metro. So I quite like the Metro series, but the thing is though is that when I read this article earlier today, I didn't see who was actually making it.
Just to jump in, another series of games that I own but never played, bought them all in 2012 on the exact same day, was Stalker. I had originally played, I think it was Clear Sky and a bit of Core Pripyat, and it was a bit too RPG for me. Back in the day, I didn't really like it. I was a Counter-Strike kind of guy. But Metro came out, and I loved the Metro. So if it's got like what Metro bought into for the apocalyptic Slavic world, and have like they take that and go, okay, it can be dark and gritty, and this is how we can achieve it, and put that in the world of Stalker, where you are literally in Chernobyl, a completely realistic to this day abandoned city where anything could be possible. That would be fantastic. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's actually that much on who's actually developing it.
No.
Game World. Who is that? Game World Publishing.
See if you can find out what they've actually published.
Award-winning titles. Since August 20th, 2004, GSC, or World Publishing, has launched 7 projects. Alexandra, 2004. Cossacks 2, Napoleon Wars, 2005. Cossacks 2, Battle for Europe, 2006. Heroes of Annihilation, Empires, 2006. Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, Stalker, Clear Sky, and Core Pripyat.
Okay, same company.
Most ambitious project yet, Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl, set in the near future. Of the exclusive zone. So yeah, it looks like it's been developed by the same type of people. So hopefully they've taken their experiences and the experiences of.
Well, it won't be the full team, seeing as though some of the team actually left to make 4A games, which are the ones that did Metro.
Yeah, but Metro was heavily inspired upon the actual book Metro 2013,
and also was inspired by Stalker.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like it took a lot of the information from the base thing. But even then, like game developers can come and go, and if you have, unless you're a fucking professor, if you have like massive great titles, and Ubisoft as well, if you have titles behind you, like say all 3 of the Stalker games, if you took what you learnt, or at least what was made from the beginning, and work upon that, a lot of the times a different development team can be there. They could show their love. They could take a different take to it. It could feel different. It might not feel exactly like the original team that worked on Stalker, Pripyat, and all that, but it could still have the same. It could feel slightly different, but still be Stalker without feeling completely taken out and feeling like a different company made it. It like say how the difference between Halo 1 and say after 343 took over. It's Halo, but it's a different feeling of Halo.
Yeah, it does feel different because, like, again, when you look at something like Halo, for instance, if you want to sort of make an example, right? When it came, I personally I liked Halo 4. I think Halo 4 was probably 343's strongest Halo game they did. For me, it did feel a little more. How do I put it? There was a lot more story focus than anything. Like, don't get me wrong, the other Halo games were very strong strong story focus. But I just think 343 did take it that one step up in a good way when it came to the storytelling. Now, I know a lot of people divided on 5, but I didn't mind 5 storyline. Again, the one thing that a lot of people had a problem with, that I had a problem with, was the fact that Master Chief was a bad guy. But look, when it comes to this with Stalker 2, it clearly shows that obviously there's still the same team publishing it and developing it, which is great.
But it might not say be the original artist who at one point did artwork or the same sound designer. It could be different people. It could be a different take on it.
Well, it will definitely be different people, because half the studio that did Stalker 1 left to do Metro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it can feel different, but at some points it could always feel the same as well. Like, it's very different. It depends on how they did it, how the development situation is going. Currently, so far, all there is at the moment is a teaser on the website with spooky music, which I actually can't get to play. But if you go to the Stalker website, you've literally got a guy in a, looks like a canvas hood with a gas mask bleeding. It says Stalker 2, and
let's see if I can get it going.
You can download a music track, and you can also download artwork. But directly underneath it, it's saying don't miss previous parts of the Legendary franchise. So that they want people who come to this website to, play the previous games, so they can, know what's going on. They can, if they're new to the series, they can go, okay, this is a new game coming out. This is interesting. I'll play the previous ones. So it's actually pretty smart of them, showing what games they've done in the past, and they've also plugged where you can buy them. So far, currently, Stalker, Shadow, Chernobyl, Clear Sky, and Corp Cat are currently on Steam, but Epic could take them up.
Oh, it's no fucking doubt that Epic's probably going to take them up.
But it's also on Good Odd Games. So, yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah, like there is a play button. There is a play button on the website to play the spooky music.
Really?
There is.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a volume
it's a hidden one. Let's hear this music.
It's just sort of stock music. Man,
that is creepy. Oh yeah, that's good.
But technically, this is the second announcement they've done, because the first announcement no one really gravitated to, because a lot of people didn't believe that they were going to do another one, seeing as though that they tried to do a sequel, but there was a lot of problems.
That happens in development all the time, though. You can attempt something and it can flop, but
I think this is. I think by the looks of things,
good to see it. Yeah, it's good to see that they're, hey, look, we've got something to show so far, to the point where they got it on the website,
Yeah, that's it. Well, I guess it's definitely. I hope they. I think it said in the article. I've just
12 years later for that game, man. Like the last game release was 12 years ago.
I'm pretty sure they're. Say in the article. No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say whether it's going to be at E3, but I kind of gather the date on the post on the Stalker official Twitter. Obviously, we'll probably. I guess the date would be the E3 probably. I kind of gather they'll probably announce more at E3.
Just a heads up, are you aware that your stream's actually not showing anything?
Yes, because I'm just about to talk about another article. Okay. So I guess we'll bring up the next one we could talk about. I think we've sort of talked about everything we can on Stalker. Right. So, Intel just unveiled a beastly 56-core, 112-thread CPU. But it's not for gaming yet.
Oh, it shouldn't be for gaming. It's a Xeon. Okay, people game on Xeons all the time. I'm not going to lie about that. I've done that. But there's no point in gaming, not for a fucking long-ass time, that you're going to need 56 cores, unless you're doing something crazy what Linus Tech Tips does, and using Unraid to have like 9 workstations on one machine. That's probably one of the only real use case scenarios where you need 56 cores and 112 threads. You're not going to need that to play Counter-Strike or League of Legends.
Well, no. Well, but the thing is that it's...
You're an idiot if you buy that to play League of Legends or anything like that. for
Yeah,
any
no.
game out currently.
Obviously, the whole purpose is for like heavy use, like you've said, and heavy strain, which is what it's meant for. But obviously you're not. It's not something you're gonna buy for gaming. Clearly,
No, like I expect this is for like for high end use for companies, say like Pixar, or when they're doing a lot of heavy like rendering and stuff like that. That could come in handy, or in the server deployment, because streaming games is becoming, in America at least, or in some places with good internet. When I'm talking good internet, I'm talking like close to 1,000 up, 1,000 down, or gigabit at least. For proper flawless 4K streaming. You've got the streaming game services, like Google. Is it Google Play or the Google Strata? Then you've got PlayStation Now. Xbox is looking into doing that soon, and some various other services.
Technically, Xbox already does that.
Ah, okay. My apologies.
Yeah,
where
no, you can link your Xbox wirelessly to your PC.
Where this one CPU could be working on multiple game instances. Now that would be really good. That's where this sort of thing would work out for gaming, but not for one instance of, say, like Borderlands 3 or something. If you're running like 14 instances of Borderlands 3, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those. Like, obviously, like I just, a lot of people are sitting there thinking, well, as you said earlier, it's like, well, obviously it's not going to be for gaming when we're talking about before the stream started, and like clearly it's not going to be. And the funny thing is that
someone's going to use it for gaming.
Well, yeah, obviously, and if whoever does that, why? You could buy a better CPU for a much cheaper price.
Or at least a compatible CPU, yeah.
Well, yeah, a compatible CPU that's better for gaming. But then again, this CPU is obviously still a pretty decent CPU for what it's intended for. And like personally, I would like to see when it does eventually come out how it actually runs. When it comes to having a lot of strain, like obviously a lot of tech channels are going to really strain the living shit out of this CPU just to see what they can do, and I reckon I'll definitely be looking at that. And when it does come out, I think we'll probably have a little more look at it. I suppose. Like obviously it's not for gaming, but clearly in the title, and when you read the stats, you know shit. But yeah, it's one of those things that we'll keep a look at anyway, I suppose.
Does it have an estimation on how much it's valued at?
Let's see.
How much is it Intel?
No, it doesn't say in the article how much it's going to be.
See if there's a... Okay, a CPU with at least 20 cores and 40 threads from 2016, right? There's a rough idea. You might have an idea. That's about $3,200 alone.
Yeah, you'd be probably looking at about a $5,000 CPU.
$5,000 or up, yeah. Knowing it's Intel. That's a crazy thing. Well, it's good to see technology going up, but I love how they had to put, but it's not for gaming yet. Like, I don't think there's going to ever be a point in our lifetime where 56 cores is going to be like the must-have for a basic gaming PC. That's never going to be the case, I don't think.
Yeah.
Hell, not even at the moment that a must-have for gaming is more than 4 cores. And that's been like that now for 10 years.
Well, that's true.
Next year will be about the 10-year mark, yeah.
We'll move on to the biggest story. Our last big talking point, because I know we're going to be probably talking a lot about this.
Oh.
Now, the Bioware shit that came out.
Oh boy.
Now, I will leak, like, I know it's Kotaku. I completely get anybody's, like, straight away judgment. I'm not a huge fan either. But I will give this guy credit. He's done a very, very in-depth fucking just, like, investigation into this entire thing. And I give the bloke props. He does a good job. So
Okay,
I will...
just before we start, a YouTuber called Legacy Killer HD has done a 16-minute video talking about the same thing. He might have better topics, or the way he explains it might be better, but...
Yeah, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want a lengthy, lazy video, you can always go to fucking Angry Joe.
40 minutes talking about the same thing where this guy does it for 16.
Like, I might go through some quick stuff through the Kotaku article, maybe in a bit, but I will go over stuff that I already know. Pretty much, one big, massive bombshell that was announced from this was, they didn't even test their fucking game. They didn't.
How do you mean? How do you mean it wasn't tested? Like they didn't do any internal QA, or
they didn't do any proper testing because the servers are that fucked, and because the Frostbite engine is so shit, right? They really struggled to even get on the server to test a lot of the main things.
They couldn't test it offline?
Nope.
That sounds strange. Normally when they do that sort of stuff, they have like a local server where there's no outgoing data, and you just connect to it like a bot match. And you can run around and you can at least test some basic stuff.
Well, according to them, apparently not. Now, and another thing that I found quite interesting, the last CEO that was a part of EA at the time, because Anthem's been in development for 7 years, right? And the last CEO, the guy that mysteriously left with a big, huge fucking pay bonus, right? No. Nothing sus there, boys. They turned around and ended up being able to test the game. I think it was in 2017, which was the year they announced Anthem, wasn't it? In 2017, and it was before E3. And the CEO turned around and said, "Right, okay, let's play it. Let's see how it is." Apparently he played all of it. He played an hour of it and turned around and said, "This is shit." Straight out said, "This is not what we do. This is not what you promised." So apparently at that point in time, they didn't even have the flying mechanic in the game, which is the core fucking point of the game at that point in time. So, believe it or not, they had 3 months to implement a flying feature in the game that didn't even... That wasn't even there in the first place. So, no shit, obviously, like a lot of the trailers and stuff like that they bring out is scripted. Yes, of course. And
well, obviously... a lot of gaming trailers have been scripted for a long time now. Like,
yes.
No one ever talks like, I'm going to test out this new thing I've got. Oh, yeah, look at that.
When you actually go really in depth with it, right? Fucking... Like, everything they showed was, believe it or not, wasn't technically in-game footage. Like, how could you fuck up that bad, right? Like, and the funny thing is too, it got investigated more that nearly half of BioWare's development team, right, that was working on Anthem, left because of severe depression, anxiety, and severe stress because of the shit they were under when it came to them producing Anthem. And it wasn't just Anthem as well. This was also Mass Effect Andromeda, right? One of the developers that worked on Dragon Age Inquisition, worked on Mass Effect Andromeda, and worked on Anthem. He didn't work on Anthem, sorry. He left before Anthem, right? He said that he can vouch the fact that his doctor turned around and said to him that he really needed to take actual medical leave from EA, from working with EA and BioWare, because it was actually causing him severe stress and anxiety. Like, that is fucked, right? And it's gotten to the point where, and apparently they lost so many developers and it's just and game directors. They lost so many people since Dragon Age Inquisition, right? To the point where BioWare right now is not the BioWare we used to love.
Well, no, BioWare is just a name that's just been strung up on a pedestal going, look, it's BioWare, everything they make will be perfect.
But see, back... You look at 10 years ago, right? You look at Mass Effect. You look at Dragon Age back then. Star Wars, The Old Republic. Nearly every single title they brought out was a good game, right? Like, yes, Star Wars The Old Republic 2 was not anywhere near as good as the first one, but it's still got high praise. It's still got good reviews. It's still got a really good reception.
Yeah.
And it sucks to see a great company like BioWare just fall into this biggest fucking depth. Now, and you look at the original... It's one of the old statements from a BioWare developer back when he did Dragon Age Inquisition. And he said that Dragon Age Inquisition having the massive success it had was an utter fluke. Because, believe it or not, the game was only 60% finished a year before the game was supposed to come out.
Huh, wow. Did not know that.
So, they fucking rushed the shit out of the game to try and push it out, and they were surprised that it turned out better than the way they planned. Like, a lot better than the way they planned. And he pretty much subtly admitted to the fact that he was surprised that the game was an utter failure.
Yeah.
And that sucks. And you look
The silver lining of all this is, with BioWare going the way it is, at least their talent is somewhere more productive. Not under the company of, EA, getting ruined constantly, getting known for bad games.
BioWare is not the BioWare we knew and loved. A lot of the people that worked with BioWare when it came to the older, the original...
Yeah, as I was saying, like, we now have those developers in other companies possibly doing better work than they would be doing now under the corporate fascism that is EA, where everything has to be done within a year so they can show their investors the next big top dollar, like the Apple or something.
Oh, it's just EA has proven again that it's just a garbage fucking video game company that all they care about is what's in your goddamn wallet. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously the whole purpose of just selling a product is obviously for money. No shit, okay. But then...
Well, yeah.
But games are still an art form. Games are still supposed to be enjoyed. Like, you can't expect, to pull out a half-assed fucking product, which again, this argument's been said multiple times and should keep being said. You can't keep bringing out a half-assed fucking product and expect us to go and buy it, right? You just can't. Right? It amazes me that FIFA, right, is so popular. I don't get it. It's the exact same game every fucking year, right? It amazes me of how this company is still even going. It really does. And
when I was in a student accommodation, they had PlayStations and Xboxes down on the student line where we could go and play. So if you could go literally buy games in your own controller and use their console. And around the same time, every night, every day of the week, the Latin Americans, the Latin students, Portugal, Brazil, countries where, football is a religion to them, where it's such a big thing of their life, they'd all be down there making the biggest racket in the world playing FIFA. And I can understand, if you love something so much, you can, it'd be great to have it as a video game and you enjoy to play it. Because, maybe if it's raining and you still want to have, that soccer experience or football experience, you can do it in line. It's not going to be as good, but, you can still experience it. Or if you can't actually, but you like soccer, but you can't actually play soccer, say like you're, sick or you're wheelchair bound or just, terrible actually hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, well, we get all that. It's just.
But the fact that they've made a game like that each year, every year, and it's successful, such as Madden and all that, like it's
There's
who the fuck's
nothing
buying
new,
them?
nothing
Who
inventive,
the
nothing.
fuck's buying them?
Just sports fans. That's all it is. It's just sports fans buying them, right? And it's just like you look at Anthem, and like again, when it shows how Bioware and the strict constraints they're going at, right? And obviously backing the statement saying that like they only had like 6 months or a year just to finish Dragon Age Inquisition, right?
Crazy deadline.
Yeah, crazy deadlines, which actually shows, and it shows in its full colors in Mass Effect Andromeda when it first dropped. Like all the
Mass
bugs,
Effect
the
Andromeda, like
glitches.
a lot of their facial expressions, which was a major thing, something that really brought into the spotlight what the fuck happened with, what do you call it? Mass Effect. Couldn't think of the name. I was going to say Anthem for some reason. You could really see there was something wrong. The movement animations, the facial animations, all that was outsourced because they couldn't do it themselves. There wasn't enough time.
Yeah, they just didn't have any time. But the time constraints really crueled them, and it did. It's not a lie. It's the truth.
Games used to take, at most 2 years. Well, sorry, at minimum 2 years before a sequel released. But yeah, it's getting that Call of Duty effect.
But see, in this circumstance, and one thing I do agree with Angry Joe with, and is that when it comes to Anthem, it is definitely not just EA's fault. And it wasn't. BioWare had 7 fucking years, and they couldn't even produce at least a half-decent product.
Having said that, they had 7 years, and fucking Duke Nukem's lot had, 12, 13 years, and that was a hot pile.
Yeah, well,
shit.
that's
not necessarily does time mean anything. It depends on how much work they actually put into it.
Well, then again, it's a different company.
How much was changed.
That's a different company.
Not even a case of a different company. You can hate train EA as much as you fucking like. As I said, like I have small experience from this. One of the first things you can be 7 months into designing something, and head up can go, I don't like that, and you are to scrap 7 months of work and start fresh. They could have had 7 years of doing this. How many times did they have to rechange it? How many times was things changed out? How many times was you need to change this? Oh, it's not going in the direction we want. We want you to step or take a different direction on it. 7 years can lose a lot of time really quickly when you've got to redo stuff constantly.
But where I'm getting at, right, is that for a game, like again, we're going back to the statement from that CEO, right? I think he was CEO or some big headwig in EA. I've forgotten his name. That sounds bad. I'm doing a fucking gaming news podcast and I can't remember his name. When he comes in and turns around after 4 years in development, and you have something as simple as flying, which is your biggest selling point, right, and the biggest and main mechanic in your video game, right? It's not in there after 4 years?
Well, maybe it wasn't something they initially thought of having.
No. The funny thing was that was originally what they wanted. That was the original concept.
So it's just a case of bigwigs saying, no, that's a stupid idea, don't put it in, and then later coming down going completely forgotten about what they originally wanted and going, oh, this is a great idea, maybe you should put this in.
No. Because of all the other stuff that was happening at BioWare at the time, because again, they were producing and making Anthem around the same time, they were still making Mass Effect Andromeda, right? It was... they were so constrained in like developers and animators and stuff like that were spread out on 2 different fucking major projects. They just had no time to do it. Like, yes, that is an issue when it comes to the amount of employees you need.
They normally hire if they're constrained. They normally hire more staff to fill the quota that they need.
Fair enough. Yes.
It must be a case of EA did not want to spend the extra money they needed to, bring in more staff members, different, more workers to work on something, because we'll just buy it anyway and we'll eat this shit up because we're the dumb consumers who just hand money to EA.
And the other thing is too that they brought up as well, which again is a big one. And again, it's not the first time you've heard a big company do something shady like this, like Destiny. But when it came to they actually throttled player movement so it would feel like the game was going on longer. Like, it's just, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you look at their end game. Like, don't get me wrong, like
that game has an end game?
No. It's supposed to, but no. Like, and the Division 1, when it first came out, it had practically no end game. But the Division 1, when it first came out, had more end game in that than Anthem does now.
Well, having said that, what you're saying, when Division first came out, prior to any updates, it had more endgame than that Anthem has now.
Yes.
But what was the endgame before any updates come out? If it was just staying at 1.0, what was the endgame for Division 1?
Well, you did have...
Dark Zone?
Yeah, pretty much Dark Zone.
Because you didn't have Underground, you didn't have Survival, you didn't have Last Stand, you didn't have any of that. You literally had the Dark Zone.
Well, think of it this way, right? Anthem doesn't have PvP. Missions. Anthem doesn't have really anything for you to really strive for apart from, I've got pretty new little gear pieces, or look at this new awesome gun that I've got that looks exactly the fucking same as the 20 other guns that I've picked up.
Yeah.
Right? Then you look at something like the Division 2 where you had different mods, different types of weapons, different stats, different, talents, different all sorts of things. And it pushed you to sort of design your character in specific ways for different encounters. Like, you've got your PvE builds, and then you also work on like there's actually something to work for. When they came to the Dark Zone, you can't just go in there with a PvE build and go
keep turning the game on every day after you beat the game.
Yeah, like there was still something there for you to keep going. Right, the loot at least kept you going. And then when the first Incursion came out, even though I know a lot of people didn't like it, right, it did bring in the gear sets and stuff like that.
It wasn't even a case of the gear sets. It brought in needed new content that someone could do.
Hell, it was simple.
Till 3 years later, I was still doing was not Last Stand, Falcon Lost. We only did that probably 2 weeks before Division 2 came out. We had done that.
And see, the thing is, like, it was simple. Yeah, it wasn't great. And yes, the game was broken still for a while, especially when it came to the PvP. It still technically is broken. But when it came down... But when you look at the Division 2 even then, and still the Division 1 then, and it is now, as it stands, the Division 1 is just shits all over fucking Anthem. Yeah. It just does. Like, hell, Destiny 1 had more content.
Destiny 1 shits all over it. Destiny 2 definitely shits all over it. As boring and bland as Destiny 2 is. I sat through Destiny 1 and I sat through Destiny 2. I couldn't sit through the Anthem beta. Nah. That's how boring it was. I literally looked at it and went, look at all this high quality vomit. I'm just seeing flashing lights at this point. I'm not seeing a game. I'm just seeing bright explosions and shiny things.
You got into the Anthem beta? Oh. I didn't.
I tried the 3 days when it was free to everyone to play.
Yeah, I didn't because it kept fucking kicking me out.
I got to a certain point where it crashed all the time every time I tried to watch the same cutscene where you're trying to stick this idiot back together because he decided to fucking run away and do his own little fucking queer ass thing.
And the problem was at that point in time, it's just how I see it from a faraway view, right? EA and Bioware are both to blame. Right? They have both done something in this whole Anthem and even Mass Effect Andromeda debacle, and it really, really shows. And it's again, for me personally, as a huge that used to be a huge fan of Bioware, right? It sucks to see them fall this hard.
But having said that, it was 2 different Bioware studios. one Bioware studio worked on Anthem, one Bioware studio worked on what do you call it? But you can say that that's the main reason. There's two different studios. One was worse than the other, or one had all the weaker stuff and that. But it also comes down to poor personnel management.
Yeah.
They didn't have set time frames and deadlines that they needed to get stuff done. What the fuck were they doing for 7 years on Anthem? I can understand if the project got scrapped, but has there been any notification or leaks or information coming out that Anthem got scrapped halfway through development and had to be redone? I don't remember seeing anything coming up on that. I didn't even know about fucking Anthem until people started talking about it half a year ago.
Oh no, I remember. I remember Anthem from 2017 when they first announced. Because I remember when they first announced, I thought, "Oh fuck, that looks really cool. Oh, I actually don't mind that." And then as they brought out more and more and more of Anthem, I just sat there and I'm just shaking my head, going, "I have a funny feeling this is going to fail, and it's going to fail really bad."
Yeah. I remember watching the E3 trailer where you're watching the big walker walk past.
Yeah, and it's not even in the game.
Oh, it's in the game, but
oh yeah,
it's minuscule compared to what you saw, and it doesn't do anything.
No, it's dead. which sucks because apparently. Oh, and that was another thing too. Another one of the ideas with the walkers though, right? Because there was supposed to be multiple cities instead of just one little stronghold that you have.
Well, they probably planned for multiple cities, but they didn't freaking have enough time to do it.
Well, see, and this is a cool part, right? They were going to have a city on top of a strider. How badass is that concept?
Yeah, probably didn't have the time to do it.
Well, no, they don't, and that was the problem. That's what.
Or maybe they've cut it, and that's coming in Anthem updates. The DLC.
What the thing is, though, is that when I
can see it now, Anthem: The Wandering City.
And the thing is, when Angry Joe talked about it, right, and the first thing is, well, pretty much the entire E3 trailer that year was faked. It's like, well, no shit, right?
Every trailer you see for games is faked.
Well, nine times out of 10 of them they are, right? It's very rare you see like a game trailer that comes out that's actually legitimate, right? And you gotta expect that, right? It's just like with some of the stuff they showed off at E3 for Anthem when it first dropped, when it first announced. First thing I said was, "This looks cool, but I don't see all this stuff that they're showing right now actually happening."
Yeah.
Because it just seemed like it was just way too far away. It's the same syndrome like No Man's Sky. Like, it's like, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, we're going to have that, we're going to have this, and everything like that, and then the game comes out, it's like, well.
You get the No Man's Strider, No Man's Sky, fuck, I can't speak. You get the No Man's Sky fucking effect where you oversell something and it doesn't provide any of it. Like, back when we all saw the Division 3. No, it's not the Division 3, fuck, I'm back, what am I in the future? Back when we saw the 2013 Division trailer, where it showed them walking around and there'd be multiple dark zones or going through the police station. That was originally the concept, and then the game got scrapped and it got redone, to fit around modern consoles and hardware and shit like that. And things changed, as development does. But they tried to show off what they wanted, but ended up biting more than what they could do. So what we ended up getting later on was you get the downgrade effect, where people's talking, oh, it's been downgraded, or it had content cut. They tried to show too much off. Everyone was expecting so much, and then when stuff got cut out of it, everyone's like, oh, the game's empty. Then you've got Anthem now, where they've, as you're saying, a city that's on the back of a strider. They got that video where they're battling up to defend the city against these enemies, which is only a cutscene. You don't get to play it. Where it's going to be multiple cities and all these other things. They bit way too much off before the game was even out, and they could not fulfill.
No.
And that's not how you should do game development. You shouldn't bullshit your way through the presentation of it and hope to God everyone's going to pre-order that moment, and by that time, you've got your money. They're not going to get what they wanted. You've got to be honest. You've got to try and at least show someone of what they're getting, and then, provide. It's like fucking McDonald's, you look at the Big Mac and then you get that pathetic looking thing. You can understand that with fast food, but when it's a video game where it's had years and years and years, time, money, hundreds and hundreds of people working on a project, you kind of expect more,
Well,
it's just unfortunate, but BioWare is literally getting shoved into a coffin at this rate, and EA is just nailing the nails. And let's just hope to God that
and it seems like
they take their time.
Well, actually, no. Respawn's actually done a big,
but that's not a single player game, though. You know what I mean? That's not like that. That's a battle royale where if you sit down long enough, you could probably find lots of issues with it. But you're not in that game for longer than maybe up to maximum of 20 minutes, shortness of like 5 seconds, depending on when you drop.
Yeah.
But it's just unfortunate. Let's just hope if they do try to release the other game that everyone's expecting now, Dragon Age 4. Here's hoping when they release that, they actually put, years of effort and actually work during those years and release what they're trying to show, not just hope to God everyone's going to rely on the Dragon Age and BioWare name that's already been soiled now. And just go, give me your money. I don't care if it's just dog shit.
Yeah,
EA's not going to get very far. Like they're losing faith, and no one wants them to do the Star Wars properties anymore. Everyone's losing faith in Battlefield. Battlefield back in the day used to be a big thing, Battlefield 2 was a big release, and everyone loved that thing, and we didn't get Battlefield 3 for years later. Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3. And then Battlefield 4 came out 2 years or so later. And then now we got Battlefield 5. And then it's going to be a Battlefield 6 in a year and a half time.
Well, do we have anything closing? Because we're sort of going to wrap this up. We've been talking about it for a while. But I'll put...
Fuck you, EA.
Pretty much. Well, I'll re-put the articles back in just in case some people came in want to read them. Again, if you didn't hear what I said originally, the original article is from Kotaku. I understand if any people that have criticism about Kotaku, but I will give this guy credit. He's done a very good job when it comes to actually investigating what actually went down with A. Right. I think it was a pretty interesting week of news this week. Mainly BioWare, but then again, it's obviously something. Because BioWare, obviously, in the article that I originally put out, they said that I showed up. They came up with a statement. Pretty much the statement was that, please stop picking on us. All you're doing is just causing damage to the gaming developers. And it's like, well, no, you need to hear this criticism, or otherwise you're never going to change. If you're not going to hear criticism, you're never going to change, right? And yes, I can understand if your initial response is, "I'll go fuck yourself," right? That's anybody's reaction, or a lot of people's reaction, or they sit there and go, "Oh yeah, okay," and in the back of their mind, "Oh, fuck the criticism," but that's just normal behavior. But if you really do sit down after like that night or the next day and really think it over, right, and just sit there and take their criticism on board and really do change, you're gonna change. You will do things for the better. But because they have EA right, under their thumb, EA's right under their thumb. It's just. Yeah, there's not much we can do about it. It's just, we hope to see some change in the future for BioWare, and hopefully BioWare is able to, at some point, break away, but I think they're well and truly stuck in EA.
I can see them getting shut down.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling they're going to get shut.
BioWare
in the next 5 years, they're going to get shut down.
Even maybe that 350, as we were talking about last week, maybe it was BioWare, but we won't know.
Well, no, because see, the article said that they weren't the people that left weren't sacked or laid off. They actually quit, and it wasn't 350.
In other news, for April Fools, Rainbow Six Siege has released a Care Bear update, where you're essentially in a kid's bedroom doing the plane mission. You all look like bright neon-colored army guys, the plastic army men, in a Barbie girl style jet, rescuing what looks like a grown man in a onesie called Mr. Bear.
Oh, I saw that.
He's lovingly known as the pedophile. Yeah, pedo bear update. Gosh, get it right.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
And it is just, it's the biggest troll on it, and it's staying around for the next 10 days in its glory.
Yeah, I highly suggest you check it. I highly suggest people check it out because it's actually quite funny.
Even just for like a one-time check, and if you don't like it, you at least get to experience it. And the end game screen where it shows you the MVP and that they drop down, boiling, making those annoying childish noises. Oh man, you can really question what the fuck Ubisoft's doing with the Rainbow 16.
Yes. It's one of those things that every time they do something, it's like you have to giggle just a little bit.
Like, the event for Halloween was good, and the event for the zombie mode was really good. And this I think it's a case of, it's April Fool's, let your hair down. No one's going to expect it. Everyone thinks you're going to be trolling, but it's a legit thing. And that's how it should be. Release the most ridiculous thing on April Fool's.
That's it. Well, I think we should wrap it up.
Yep.
Anything you are doing or playing this week that we can talk about next? At the moment, because of work, I haven't really played anything this week. But I am really, really going to try and see if I can play some Sekiro. I know Toast Farmer played.
That's probably what he's doing now, is playing Sekiro.
Probably.
He gets us to play that game.
Yeah, that's probably. So yeah, hopefully I'll try and get play some more of that, or I can actually play a lot more of Devil May Cry 5. It's just work this week's been just kicking my ass. So, but for new people that have come to the podcast and have listened for the last probably hour and a half, thank you for joining us. We will be doing a podcast every Thursday at 6 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. If you live in Australia, it's New South Wales time. So if
you're in Brisbane, it's at 5 p.m.
It's at 5 p.m. Yes. So not next week because the daylight savings is finally ending.
I've only just got used to this. So it's going to be 5 regardless still.
Well, I think for you it'd probably I think next week I think it'll be 6 for you.
So starting later. Okay.
It'd be later for you, yes. So for me, it'll be still 6 o'clock.
Why can't the country be unified where we have the same fucking time zone?
Well, yeah, it'll be still 6 o'clock for me.
Well,
on my end. But anyway,
see you guys next week. If you enjoyed the stream, follow, and we'll be back next week, I guess. Hey.
Yeah, and that'll be pretty much it. So. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys want to see us next week, feel free to follow, and we'll catch you all next week for the next stream. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you all later.
Yep.
Bye-bye.